And a couple in West Deer was getting their property surveyed, but their neighbor wasn't happy about that. And police say that he took a couple shots at them. Channel 11's Jillian Hartman found out how police say this neighborhood dispute escalated.
Well, a man is behind bars tonight after police say he fired several gunshots at his neighbors while they were getting their property surveyed. Ray Nelson is in the Allegheny County Jail tonight, unable to post bail after investigators say a neighborly dispute escalated. We got our hands on the criminal complaint detailing what happened. West Deer Township police say officers were called on Tuesday afternoon to Russellton Airport Road and Tarentum for shots fired. When they arrived, the victims were visibly shaken. According to documents, they told police while they were surveying their property, they heard several gunshots and saw their neighbor Ray Nelson firing a gun in their direction. The couple told police they've had problems with Nelson since getting their property surveyed 2 weeks ago. That's when he allegedly set up a target near their yard. One of the victims stated he thinks Nelson was trying to shoot him while he was in line with the target to make it look like an accident. One of the surveyors told police while they were working, Nelson appeared to be upset. When police questioned Nelson, he claimed nothing happened with his neighbor and they haven't talked in a year. Right now, Ray Nelson is facing 2 counts of aggravated assault and recklessly endangering another person. His preliminary hearing is 2 weeks from today. Reporting in West Deer Township, I'm Jillian Hartman, Channel 11 News.